Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will discuss Pakistan and Afghanistan international relations part 2. Previously we had discussed the role of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Sardar Daud Khan of Afghanistan. In 1977 President Zia came to power in Pakistan, so he continued to pursue friendly relations towards Afghanistan. In October, he visited Kabul, and Sardar Daud returned the visit in March 1978. In Pakistan, he made speeches calling for improved relations. So, immediately after that, Daud Khan was killed when his government was overthrown. The situation was very unclear as to who was in control in Afghanistan. The new government was communist, but there were many deviants within. So the government in Afghanistan was totally unstable. Uh, in December 1979, the USSR sent uh, over 80,000 strong army to remove the communist leader and to replace him. So Babrak Kamal was appointed as the head of new government in Afghanistan. The Afghan people put up a resolute resistance to this blatant aggression, and after putting him in power, Soviet troops stayed on just to ensure peace, and the situation was so critical, and it led to war between the Soviet Union and the Afghan Mujahideen fighters. Over 3 million refugees fled from the war to Pakistan over the next year. Pakistan was uh, praised for its humane treatment of these refugees, and it soon became the acknowledged route for channeling assistance to the Mujahideen. The Pak army received military aid from the Western countries and was responsible for dividing it amongst the various different militant Mujahideen groups. The Pakistan Military Intelligence Service also worked with the Afghans in planning operation against Soviet forces. The Soviet Union USSR soon hit back to try to prevent Pakistan's support for the Mujahideen. Pakistani frontier towns were bombed heavily, and there were also bomb explosions in different cities throughout the Pakistan. So these attacks were almost the work of Soviet Union or the Afghan infiltrators. Now we will discuss Zia's role or reaction against the strategy of Soviet Russia. Uh, President Ziaul Haq remained very determined in his support for the Mujahideen. So, as the war dragged furthermore, the Soviet Union began to realize that all that fighting was useless for USSR, and it was unable um, to win or to achieve. So on 14th April 1988, pressure from Pakistan and Afghanistan led to the Soviet Union withdrawing their army from Afghanistan. Zia was being considered as the hero to many Muslim states as well as the Western countries. So he had played a major part in bringing one of the world's superpowers to accept defeat. Afghanistan still had a Soviet imposed leader ruling in Kabul, so civil war was erupted in Afghanistan, and different militant groups in Afghanistan, they were trying to get the control of Afghanistan. So Pakistan's involvement was far from over at the end of Zia's rule in 1988. But now that the Soviet Union was no longer involved and American aid was cut uh, dramatically, Pakistan was to Pakistan remained to find thousands of Afghan refugees still crossing the border of Pakistan. So Western aid to help them was not so forthcoming. Now we will discuss Nawaz Sharif's role regarding Afghan relations. So Muhammad Nawaz Sharif tried to bring fighting to an end in Afghanistan. So he invited Afghan leaders belonging to different militant groups for talks. The Islamabad Accord or Agreement was signed by six separate groups, but the lack of a strong central organization in the country made it almost impossible to restore law and order situation in Afghanistan. So the violence remained on front doors. The lawlessness spread into Pakistan and became known as Kalashnikov culture. Um, some Pakistani areas, such as Sohot, became extremely expert in copying and manufacturing the Russian automatic weapons and the guns, which became available freely to almost anyone who might want uh, any weapon. Benazir Bhutto's policies towards Afghanistan. Benazir decided to support Afghan Taliban uh, in Afghanistan. Taliban was the militant group who got the control of more than 60% of the area of Afghanistan in the civil war. So, as she said, that this was the only force strong enough to establish stability and allow Pakistan to trade in the Central Asian states. Benazir government provided military and financial support for the Taliban government, and even Benazir sent a small army until army unit to help Afghanistan. Uh, the Taliban came to power in Afghanistan and religious fundamentalism grew in Pakistan. Benazir Bhutto later admitted that her policy had been a mistake, a severe mistake, and had led to Islamic militancy, which threatened to create stability in Pakistan. So, shortly before her death in 2007, she said that the support by her as well as by USA, what was offered to Taliban was a very critical and fatal mistake they had done. These are the Cambridge questions, so you can prepare. Uh, in this regard, you can consult the marking scheme as well.